Welcome to Election Recon. It is Friday, October the 9th, 2020. 25 days to go until Election Day here in the United States. I'm Josh Whitfield, coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere out on the campaign trail. And we thank you for joining us this evening. The big news of the night in the election is the Commission on Presidential Debates has put the kibosh. They have killed the second presidential debate. There will not be a number 2 presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The commission pretty much saying too much back and forth, too much nonsense between both campaigns, too much arguing over whether or not virtual, non-virtual, whatever, and whatnot. So the commission has killed the second debate. So far, a third debate, or what will now be the second debate, but the originally scheduled third debate is still a go. We'll have to see how the drama, as it just gets more and more crazy in this election each and every day, unfolds and develops. Without any further ado, it was a light day polling, so let's just get right into the state of the race, starting with the presidency of the United States. A job approval poll from Rasmussen reports today, Trump underwater, -6 points, 52 disapprove, 46 approve. A national general election poll from The Hill and Harris X, Biden +5, 45-40. Now to state polling. From the state of Georgia, from WSB-TV, Landmark, Trump +2, 49-47. That race within the margin of error. Also from the state of Georgia, from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Trump +2, 48-46. Also within the margin of error. Out of Arizona, from Trafalgar Group, a Republican-affiliated organization, Trump +4, 48-44. From Texas, from the University of Texas and the Texas Tribune, Trump +5, 50-45. And out of New Jersey, from Farley Dickinson, Biden +15, 53-38. And now, let's take a look at the 538 presidential forecast model for the 2020 election. Biden, once again, another day, another improvement for him. 538 has Biden now 85 in 100 chance to win the election. That's 85% chance to win. Trump remains at 15 in 100, and the 1 in 100 tie has disappeared from the model today. Biden improves in their electoral vote projection to 344 electoral votes projected, 194 for President Trump. The share of the popular vote projection from 538, 53.4 for Biden, 45.4 for President Trump tonight. Now moving to the Real Clear Politics aggregate comparison of polling in the battleground states from 2016 to 2020, where once again President Trump has ever so slightly improved. Yesterday, he was 0.5% better today than he was in 2016 in the battleground state polling. He gains 0.1% to 0.6% today in the RCP battlegrounds comparison. And now taking a look at our model, the election recon predictive model, and where things stand. No shifts by states in our model today. That's the first time since we have been up on the air bringing you updates that there have been no shifts in the presidential model. So that will mean that our election recon predictive scoreboard for the President of the United States will stand at 308 projected electoral votes for Biden-Harris, 230 projected electoral votes for Trump-Pence. And now taking a look at the election recon forecast, where we are going to take a look at our model's suggestion on odds chance to win and the share of the popular vote. Our model has Biden improving slightly today as well, giving Biden a 68 in 100 chance to win the presidency, 68% chance to win. Trump, 31 in 100 or 31%, and we have it 1 in 100 chance of a 269 tie. I think we should take this time to point out that many conservative prognosticators out there, especially on social media, are all getting behind what they are calling Trump's 260 electoral vote firewall. Most conservative prognosticators would disagree with our model, and they would disagree with 538's model, and they believe that the president has the Sun Belt pretty much wrapped up, and the real fight for this election is going to just simply be in the Rust Belt states, and they absolutely could be correct. The Sun Belt states we have very, very close, and actually, other than Florida, have moved into President Trump's favor in our model as well. So we thought we should make sure that we at least brought up to keep it fair that despite our model and 538's model, that conservative prognosticators disagree where our two models actually stand, and we definitely want to make sure you get both sides of the story. So that's where it stands for the presidency. Let's move to the Senate. 3 polls out of Senate races today. First, out of the state of Georgia, from WSB-TV Landmark, in the race between the Republican incumbent Perdue versus the Democrat challenger Ossoff. Perdue +1, 47-46. That race within the margin of error. Also, out of the state of Georgia, from Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Also, the race between the incumbent Senator Republican Perdue and the Democrat challenger Ossoff. That poll has it Perdue +8, 49-41. And out of the state of Texas, from the University of Texas and the Texas Tribune, in the race between Republican incumbent Senator Cornyn versus the Democratic challenger Hagar, Cornyn +8, 50-42. Taking a look now at the election recon predictive model. No shifts in the model today. Therefore, the election recon predictive scoreboard for the United States Senate will remain 50 projected seats for Democrats, 50 projected seats for Republicans, and as always, we remind you, in the result of a 50-50 tie vote in the Senate, whoever holds the vice presidency of the United States will break the tie. Moving now to the United States House of Representatives. No polling to report today. However, in the election recon predictive model, we did have one district shift, and that is going to be the Minnesota 7th, a very tight race that keeps seesawing back and forth in our model. The Minnesota 7th today moving in the Democrats' direction. It is a flip from tilt GOP to tilt Democrat. That will give the Democrats a +1 pickup in our model on the day, bringing the election recon predictive scoreboard for the U.S. House to 239 projected seats for Democrats, 196 projected seats for Republicans. Moving now to governor's races across the United States. No polling, no model shifts today for governors. Therefore, the election recon predictive scoreboard stands 27 projected governor's mansions for Republicans, 23 for Democrats. And now moving to state legislative races across the country. First, legislative upper chambers or Nebraska's unicameral chamber. Once again, no polling, no shifts in our model today. Therefore, the scoreboard stands for legislative upper chambers, 29 projected chambers in control of Republicans, 21 projected chambers in control of the Democrats. Moving now to lower chambers. Same story for the lower chambers once again today. No polling, no shifts in our model. Therefore, the scoreboard will stand for lower chambers, 27 projected to be in control for Republicans, 22 projected to be in control for the Democrats. We'd like to remind you that tomorrow will be our 3rd hour-long, full, in-depth episode of the Election Recon podcast. And the special guest for tomorrow's podcast is going to be Ashley Stubbs, a good friend and former colleague of mine who is currently the Director of Communications for the Tri-City Development Council, known as TriDec, and it is the regional EDC group in southeastern Washington State. Ashley has a decorated career in government and elections, and believe it or not, she used to be in the pit crew for NASCAR at once upon a time. So a very, very, very interesting guest, and I'm very much looking forward to getting her unique perspective on election 2020 and everything going on in this crazy world, in this crazy year. I promise you, you will not want to miss tomorrow's very unique episode with Miss Ashley Stubbs. You can find our podcast on iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And if you like our content, you like our show, we certainly would appreciate your support. We thank those of you who are already supporting us. We hit 300 followers on Facebook today. 300 followers on Facebook today, and we're approaching 40 some odd subscribers on YouTube, and we've had over 300 unique downloads and listens to the podcast within the last 24 hours. So we really do appreciate all the continued support. You can find us on social media at Election Recon, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, if you want to ask me questions before tomorrow's show is recorded, you can email us your questions and maybe it will get picked to be answered on the podcast. You can email us at electrecon, elect singular, recon@gmail.com. So this has been another weekday update, the last one for this week. But again, don't forget to catch tomorrow's full-length Election Recon podcast episode. I'm Josh Whitfield wishing you a good weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. You have a good night.